Happy Women's History Month, mi gente. That's right, we are still celebrating. And as we continue to celebrate the contributions made by women in society, we welcome our first guest, the president of Women of Woodlawn, affectionately known as WOW. Women of Woodlawn is a civic nonprofit that advocates for the Woodlawn community, finding solutions to problems that matter most to their neighbors and supporting women through education, networking, and giving. And joining us to share more is Women of Woodlawn President Kim Furletti. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for the initiatives that you've taken on, right? It's, leave it to a woman to make things happen.
Yeah, so, there's a saying that if you want something done right, you do it yourself. But if you really want something done right, you have a woman do it.
That's right. That's right. Somehow we missed that memo in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Or the end of last year.
Right. It would be the end of last year, right? But, I would have loved to have stepped into this year.
Yeah, but it's an opportunity now for women to step up and make the right decisions and show the way for the rest of the world, that we do have a voice. There are things to do. Let's get it done.
And we're very efficient.
We are.
Because we are born multitaskers.
We are.
So let's talk about Women of Woodlawn and what I guess inspired you guys to form this, because it's a collective operating on a volunteer basis.
Exactly. So in 2014, there was a group of women in the Woodlawn community that saw some areas of concern. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to live. It's safe. But our parks were being neglected, UPK was being rolled out, and we did not have a UPK seat. And we petitioned the neighborhood, over 1,500 wet signatures, brought those to elected officials, and said, how can we bring UPK to Woodlawn? And it took a while. Doors weren't opening at first. We were unknown. We are known now.
So I know we live in a society of speaking in acronyms, but let's just...
Oh, Universal Pre-K is what I meant by UPK. Yeah, and I really don't like acronyms.
I have a teenager in my life, and so
I have a few of those.
It's like, oh gosh, what does that stand for?
Oh, I know, you're Googling things constantly.
And, and of course I know UPK, but I'm going, okay, that's something I have to think about, because you're speaking in acronym form, but it's just also in case, whomever may be watching does not speak in acronym form. And what's interesting in what you're sharing is what qualifies a neighborhood to even have that.
Well, I believe they're everywhere now, but when the initiative started under the de Blasio administration, we had these big banners all over the neighborhood, sign your child up for universal pre-K, and the nearest locations were in Norwood and Wakefield. And we're geographically isolated where we are, so those are not easy neighborhoods to park in. If you drive, if you don't drive, you might not feel comfortable bringing your kid on a city bus to those areas,
we're
schlepping.
Talking 3, 4 years old.
Exactly,
yeah.
They're itty bitty.
Yeah.
So why not advocate for our neighborhood? So we're a see a need, fill a need organization that was trying to focus on improving the lives of the people in our community. But the mission changes and grows over time, and it's still the mission, but everything we do falls into 3 pillars of service, support, and community.
Right, which we need a lot of right now. Well, just in general, it's
true.
It's something that we all need to really take on independently within our communities. But it's lovely that you formed this collective, right? So tell me about how many women are involved.
So we have an executive board with 7 members, and our membership is probably around 50. And one thing that I like about the organization is that you can decide which of those pillars works for you.
What were the pillars again? Service?
Support, service, and community.
Support, service, and community. And these are wonderful pillars to just live by in life, right? How do you introduce this to someone who's looking for community, because that's really what you're forming here is community. A community that's
Absolutely.
transforming community.
Yeah.
But you're doing it together as a community.
We are. So, community looks like our monthly meetings. We meet at the Rambling House in Woodlawn. It's an evening to gather with women, and anybody's welcome. We have open meetings, so anybody can come. But
Meaning it's gender inclusive.
it's gender inclusive, yes. But it's an evening where we
Right.
get to lay back, talk about issues that are going on, and have a guest speaker. And it's very informal. It's a little different than other community organizations that might have a more formal approach.
That's nice. So it's informal, but yet you have this.
But impactful.
Right, and purposeful is what it
Yes.
sounds like. And then during these meetings, you decide what initiative you're all going to tackle together?
So we discuss that as a board, and then we kind of get feedback from the community on what might be meaningful or of need to them. So that's where support comes in. So support can look like, hey, I'm really having a hard time with my homeowner's tax, or there's a lot of noise on Jerome because there's these car parties. Like, how can we get a solution to this problem? So we are very solutions based. We got UPK brought to Woodlawn. We've done a lot of parks advocacy. During the pandemic, we had zero access to green space because of construction. So our playground was under construction, and the ballparks at Indian Field were under construction. You could still get to the fields, the walkways in Van Cortlandt Park, but from throwing a ball, running around with little kids, there was no access. So there was construction that was supposed to be going on to redo ball fields at Indian Field, and we brought together a coalition. Who needs to be at the table? Who needs to figure out how to solve this problem? So the coalition included Van Cortlandt Park Alliance, Community Board 12, elected officials, parks, and they listened. It took a while, but we got it done.
And you guys initiated it.
We did.
You coordinated it.
Yes.
You brought the coalition together.
We brought all the stakeholders to the table.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you're doing this on your free time
Yes.
as a service to your community.
Yeah.
That's, it's admirable. It's important that I say it in
So
this way.
you have to love,
Right.
You have to love it, because it's not easy.
Right.
But it is rewarding. Like when you see we do an Easter egg hunt every year, you see all the smiles. We do cleanup events. People say, "Oh, thank you for what you're doing for the community." It fills you up.
I know you're all hands-on in
Yes.
every sense of the word, even if it includes having to figure out about the garbage, right? To figure out
Exactly.
how to clean up the parks for
We've
the
done
children.
graffiti removal. We've done garbage cleanups along Katona Avenue. We do plantings. Lots of different ways that you can feel an ownership in your community and make a difference.
And so, since you started and as you continue moving forward, aside from feeling fulfilled, what kind of results are visibly active at this particular time from when you started?
So we were able to work with another coalition to successfully downzone some of the areas of Woodlawn that seemed appropriate to downzone. We installed a beautiful Welcome to Woodlawn mural on the corner of East 235th Street and Katona Avenue. We've done tree pit care along Katona Avenue. Tree guards have been installed. There's just constant work to do cleanup and invasive removal along Van Cortlandt Park at the playground and just all along Van Cortlandt Park East. So there's more beautification. We've advocated for an expansion at PS19, the local K-8 school, pre-K to 8 school. And everything that we do, we can't do alone. it takes effort. It takes knowing who to talk to, who to include, who to help advocate for. But you know, when we listen to what the community needs, we can get things done.
Yeah, that's generally how it works in relationships, right? Right? No, I'm saying we need a lot more of that, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so when you take this on as your purpose to make sure that there's this sense of pride that's carried in doing whatever's necessary to uphold the environment, you know, and to enroll individuals to do it with you.
Of course.
That's it's no easy task, and it's definitely something that deserves the rewards of acknowledgement. Yeah, yeah. So if somebody was watching right now that is in the community, how would they know to become involved? Like, is there like a membership that they can sign and register for online?
Yeah, so at our website, womenofwoodlawn.org has membership information, donation information, because we do need money.
Right.
You know, that we're
That's why you're a
short.
501c3.
Yeah,
right.
we're short on resources, whether it's people or financial. We're rich in other resources with partnerships with community organizations like Van Cortlandt Park Alliance or Bronx River Alliance. So, you know, we're able to leverage our relationships and the staff that they have to help us accomplish the goals that we're looking to accomplish, and those goals are aligned.
That's beautiful.
You can visit us on Instagram at Women of Woodlawn or Facebook, Women of Woodlawn. On Facebook, you can sign up for our email newsletters, where we'll send out blasts that might be a little more detailed than you see on social media.
Well, we thank you for bringing it here, Kim. You know, power to the women.
Like I said, a See a Need, Fill a Need organization. You know, we've done food drives, toy drives, clothing drives for fire victims throughout the Bronx, food drives for people in homeless shelters, clothing drives for migrants coming in. We're able to mobilize.
Yeah, and be aligned in the process, which is important.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for bringing it here, everyone. Kim Furletti, Women of Woodlawn President. And once again, for more information, you can visit womenofwoodlawn.org. All right, stay tuned. There's more open when we return.